Hi, it's Whitney, and I'm continuing this week's Five and Five, talking about habits. I want to talk about one particular habit that I hadn't really thought about, and it is part of the book One Habit for Success, the Smart Fem Summit Special Edition. And yesterday I was interviewing Shantae Kinney, and her habit in the book is to do that one thing that's necessary. And the concept is that when you do the one necessary thing, it makes it so that what you're working on is possible. And then you look back over time, step by step, piece by piece, and you end up accomplishing something that maybe you thought was impossible. So, what this just spoke to me in a particular way, and I'm not going to do a segment about every habit in the book, but there are a couple that have just really jumped out at me that I wanted to talk about specifically. And this concept of doing the necessary, the one thing, and I started to think about all the habits that I have, habits that I don't want, habits that I need to offload, and things that I could be doing. What is really the essence of one thing that I could do that would make the rest of my life easier? And for me, it boiled down to this. And for each of you, it will be something else. But it really is the way I start my day and the way I think. And so I have adopted a morning routine. I am pretty consistent with it, which one of the things about habits, building habits, changing habits, that's really important is the consistency, because at some point it it's not a habit until it becomes a habit, right? And it's the consistency that makes it a habit. Until then, it what you do are choices in behavior, choices in the activities that you take on. And the more you do it, the consistency, and then you get to a point where you're not thinking about it anymore. It really is a habit. So, my morning routine, which consists of various components, what it boils down to, the essence is really thinking about how I start and set up my day for success. And it could be different things that I actually do, different activities that I take on. But I think it's less about that than the mindset that I bring to it. And it is that mindset that I think ultimately undergirds all the habits and the things that we do. So, for instance, I have adopted the the morning routine that is laid out in a book. It's called The Morning Miracle by Hal Elrod. I think it's a fabulous book. There are different versions of the book. There's the basic morning miracle principle, the activities that go along with that. They're called lifesavers. And then there's some other books that explain the same concept in different ways with an approach that's specific maybe for a particular industry or segment of the population. So there's one for couples, parents, real estate agents, writers. Uh, there's a miracle morning, the miracle equation. So you get my drift. There are a number of different books that approach the same subject, which ultimately is about how you set up your day, your morning in particular, to allow you to maximize your productivity, your mindset, your energy to get to the successful end of your day. based on the intent that you bring to what you're trying to accomplish. So I'm thinking that if I can master that one thing, that one necessary thing, it makes everything else possible. And then I look back and I have achieved the impossible. And one of the things that I'll take this as an example. I wrote for a magazine, column in a magazine for 6.5, almost 7 years. And the approach that I took was writing daily. And sometimes I didn't write about anything in particular, but I made it a habit of writing, right? Writing every day. The goal was 30 minutes a day. Some days it was 30 minutes, sometimes longer, sometimes not as much. But the point was to write every single day because writers write. And in doing so, I looked back over time, and it was the one thing, the consistency, the intent to get it done. I look back over time, and there are almost 7 years of columns. There is a book that is resulting from those columns. And if you have not written a book, if you're thinking about writing a book, or if you've written a book, you know how it's a challenge, right? And if it were easy, everyone would do it. So it is a challenge to actually do that. It's a challenge to go to school and show up every day, get your homework done. And it's this mindset and these same habits that make it possible to do everything that we do. And we don't think about it in that way. And so if you could take the success habits that you've used to accomplish something that you've accomplished, and you could would duplicate it, if you could replicate it over and over again, so that everything you put your mind to, you take that same approach, the same mindset, and move that into other areas of your life, you would see that it is really just about how you focus on the one thing, the one necessary thing. So I just want, as part of this, I'm thanking Shantae again. I hadn't thought about it that way. And I wanted to expound a little bit on the interview that we had. I don't think I have shared it everywhere that you might be seeing this particular video, but I'll make sure that it is, because I think it's helpful to hear in her own words how she came to that habit. And also, if you haven't, while this isn't about product sales or anything, if you haven't purchased the book, consider doing so. It's The One Habit for Success, the Smart Fem Summit Special Edition, filled with great habits by some really awesome people who use what's in the book every single day to help them achieve the success that they have and the success in areas that they're moving forward on. So, what I'd like to know is, what area of success, what is one area that you could focus on, build a habit around, that would help move you to a goal, to the successful achievement of a goal that you have in mind? What is the one thing that's absolutely necessary that will make it possible for you to achieve that? And then you can look back and go, I didn't really think that was possible, but because I focused on the thing that was necessary, took step after step, I was consistent, I got it done. I would love to hear about that. Leave a note in the comments and let's talk about uh, habits and how you can use them to get the success that you are seeking. All right. Take care.